Welcome to ECREUS Real Estate Advisory Podcast. We have a lot that we're going to talk about in the coming weeks, coming months, hopefully coming years. Here I have Taimur with me. Initially, I was going to have him introduce himself, but he is one of those people who does not toot his own horns. So I'm going to do it a bit. Taimur is with ECREUS Real Estate. It is a boutique real estate brokerage and advisory firm that has been around for 20 years in multiple states. But they specifically focus on the markets in California and Georgia. So, what we're going to do is on each podcast, we're going to go over some of the deals that he's working on right now that maybe one of you will be part of one day. We will talk about the market conditions in the different markets that he is part of. And additionally, we will also learn about real estate as we go. So I'll pass it over to Taimur to give his own introduction.
Hey everyone, my name is Taimur. As Hawk introduced me, I'm in primarily in real estate in the two markets of California and Georgia. There's a lot going on in each state in their own regards, you know.
So, what kind of specialty do you have in real estate? From what I know, like for myself, for example, I was really involved in the residential flex and flip and wholesale. What are the things that you do very well in your own opinion?
So it's not like I'm gonna let anything go. And like in real estate, it's not like I wouldn't do like a residential type thing if it comes by. But I mainly focus on commercial. I mainly focus on warehouse and retail.
I see. What's some of the, or can you tell me one of the exciting deals that you worked on recently in the last, let's say, year in the commercial space? Because I'm really interested in learning about commercial. So please share.
Yeah, I'm having to like think, okay, let me think about it a little bit like that.
That's fine. This is not a job interview. So
Okay, all right.
if anything, I need you to hire me.
Hey, don't worry, there's always a space for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So one thing on basically, so there's this one deal we're working on. It's a multi-residential unit out in Georgia. So basically, like
Which part of
it's
Georgia?
which part of Georgia? This is more out towards the coast, towards Savannah,
Okay.
towards the port area. So generally, basically, this deal specifically, it has there's like multiple like residential units, like rentals inside of like a little cul-de-sac that's made just for renting. And this like this client this client's just a little bit further away, and as he's having a little bit of a harder time kind of keeping on top of everything. He's many states away. So it's basically just focusing on just waiting for it to just get it up to par, fix all the little things here and there that should have been fixed. The roof actually, roofing is a lot of the really big thing out there because it rains quite a lot, so you need to really be careful about those things. Just revamping everything, make sure everything's fine, and just trying to get that on the market and hopefully getting them something closer, something closer to a market where they're more comfortable with, or something that's more easily managed.
And this is a commercial property, right?
Technically, yeah, because it's like a multi-family. It's multiple units.
So it's apartments.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many units is it?
Uh, Total is about, I believe, 26.
And is this a standard sell or is it more like 1031 exchange?
It's standard.
It's standard.
Standard.
Okay, guys, if you're listening, we do have a. Is it a on market or off market property?
At this moment, it's off market.
It is an off market property in Savannah, near Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any investor who's looking for a value add apartment, hit us up. We'll take care of you. So that's really awesome. Now, this is a deal that you're currently working on. Can you tell me about an exciting deal that you closed in the last last year?
Okay, so actually there was a pretty interesting commercial lease type situation that I dealt with for daycare.
Mm.
Now usually daycare is, like people don't usually do with that. I mean, I didn't really honestly either, but it just sort of, it just sort of ended up coming through. So basically, this party is a party that gets grants from the state of California to open up daycares and run them basically year by year by year. And they get money, and they get more and more money, and the grant money and everything based off of every child they have in there.
Mhm.
So they have like all these different kind of requirements, and like they have a lot of requirements actually to try to get everything to fit in just right. Of course, zoning is a really big one. Plus, like a lot, plus they have to have a place for the kids to play, elevators, all these different types of things. And plus, they're also looking for something they didn't have to do from scratch because they don't get a lot of money from the state to do renovations. So an interesting thing you'd actually find is that one of the, I guess, one of like the best things we found for them was targeting churches. So, I mean, churches, there's a lot of older churches and everything around, and like even in California from back in the days, which are sort of around, and and churches need like a better revenue stream once in a while too. So, and it kind of works out for them because they've had like these buildings and everything which are prime for prime use in those locations, and zoning works too.
Mhm.
So we found something like a lease for them for in like longer term lease in a church, and basically made sure it basically worked out for them in the regards, in the state grants regards and everything as well. So that's an interesting thing. So a lot of these daycares and everything, that's an interesting market to target, basically to target older like religious buildings, which could definitely use the revenue.
No, definitely. And this is definitely a refresher to our real estate algorithm because right now, when it comes to real estate, the only thing that people usually see are wholesaling, Airbnb arbitrage, and maybe just real estate traditional sales. Now, this is definitely good content. Uh, and you said this was in California, right?
Yeah, it's in
Okay,
California.
we'll definitely have to do a whole entire podcast just on that, like learning how the grant works for preschool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, all right. Moving on. A lot of people they take Georgia to be a very like optimal market for real estate investment. Is that still the case?
Um, I would still say it is the case. It's still the case. I mean, it was definitely a lot better. I guess returns were a lot better like 5, maybe even 10 years ago, but it's still there
Okay.
because Georgia, like it's in the Piedmont region, and it's a growing, it's still a growing market. It's not, there's still people coming in. It is still growing even now. I would say definitely like for people for people like who are it's not a tapped out market. It still has a ways to go. I would say basically like for people who are I guess more in like the western states, California, and those types of places and everything. It would definitely it is a place still to invest. There are still returns that come better than like at least out here.
Yeah, yeah. And what kind of strategy would you recommend an investor um, take when in a market like that? So if an investor comes to you right now and tell you, hey, I have let's say few $100,000, how do I invest this in Georgia?
Um, for a few 100,000, I would sort of start off with just residential.
Now is this cash like just cash investment or leveraging it with a loan? Because most of our viewers will be using loan.
Hmm.
So with the 20% down, let's say they have $200,000. So they with the 20% that should be around $1 million property or properties. What would you recommend?
Mm. Okay. For $1 million at least.
Yes.
For that you can definitely. I mean, you can actually try to find some things which actually might be deals to kind of work out in that way. For example, I remember I found something a bit ago in Atlanta, in like basically like more of the downtown area, uh, like above the 20, like in a pretty okay area. It was about a 10 unit property for I think it was 1.1, 1.2, and the guy was also willing to do a little bit of seller financing if need be.
Oh, interesting. Is this retail or apartment building?
Apartment complex, yeah, apartment. It's 10 unit.
Oh wow, that is a killer because here in
Yeah,
California that would easily be like what, a 10 unit. It'll be easily like 3 million.
yeah,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
3 million.
Yeah, no, it works out over there. The thing is, if you're willing to, like, if you're willing to have something, go for some things that people actually, might be a little bit of a harder sell and everything. Like, if you actually kind of work at it and everything, you can actually do some good things. For example, there's another. It's a little bit of like I guess a little bit of a harder market area in that region of Atlanta.
Hmm.
It's about 85 unit, and it's going for about, I believe, 50,000 per unit. I mean,
Okay.
it still needs quite a bit of work, but it's there.
And what kind of, you mentioned challenges. What kind of challenges are you talking about?
Um, Challenges would be basically just you need someone there like more permanent to like sort of take care of the tenant's needs. Basically that's about it. So you need to hire someone who would stay there, who can actively deal with all of the apartments and the tenants' needs.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, we're almost coming to a close on our first session. What kind of market updates do you have for us for this week to share with our audience?
I know the market is a bit right now the market is a bit stagnant. I mean, depending on which areas you're talking about, but generally it's a little flat right now. But I guess one of the things I was looking that was kind of intriguing was the new housing bill that was like I believe Congress signed in.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's supposed to help basically like a lot of red tape and everything kind of cut out to like for them people to help basically build more units because I believe we still need about 7 million units generally in total.
Yeah,
I mean, still need for them. So it would definitely help out in like building, and I was hoping basically with that as well. Basically, people would be more willing to basically buy, and more units on the market means like uh, making it more affordable. So that's something I'm sort of looking at it interestingly. Basically, getting this market started up a bit.
okay, awesome, awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Looking forward to talk to you next week in our next session for ECREUS Real Estate Brokerage and Advisory Podcast.